Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. It's reaction battle time. As Brendan pulling out a long one. Be prepared, sit down, relax. He's gone for a huge one. Brendan, please let us all know.
So Epitaph by King Crimson. Yep. We are going into prog. We are going back in time.
We are King Crimson, man.
1969, I believe, the album In the Court of the Crimson King was released. Now, for anybody who knows me, may know what it was that originally made me want to listen to this album.
Stop for a second. Did you say 1969?
I believe it was, yeah.
What the fuck?
Wow. It might have been 70s, but let me...
Yeah, I kind of... That's incredible.
I believe it was 69.
That is incredible if that's the case. I think you're right, you know.
Yeah, 1969.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Sorry.
King Crimson.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. Just, I was like, holy shit. Like, wow. Like, I thought I misheard you and you said 1999 or something.
This may be the oldest song I still listen to today.
Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Of course, other than those times, I feel patriotic and just occasionally blare out the national anthem while driving around the car. Not true, by the way.
No, you're more of a Land of Hope and Glory guy, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I know, obviously, I know who King Crimson are. I knew who King Crimson were when I bought this album. I have this on vinyl downstairs. A recent print, unfortunately, not a 1969 version, because that was really cool. That picture that you see on there, that weird face, is the whole LP cover as well, which is also kind of cool. I bought this because of what it meant to me in relation to a certain book series by Stephen King and the inspiration behind the Dark Tower's main bad guy, the Crimson King. I bought it because I had read in one of Stephen King's, not biographies as such, but memoirs and writing, I believe it was called, about how this album had inspired a lot of his works, and including The Gunslinger. And I am a collector of Dark Tower rarities, so I bought it for that reason. I also listened to it, and I like it, but I love Epitaph. I am very aware it is a challenging listen, even for me at times, but as a piece overall, I find it immensely moving. I love the fact it's from 1969, because when I listen to it, while of course it sounds its age, I'd be lying if I said it sounded like an album from like the new metal era. It doesn't, you know. I feel like wow, these guys were really progressive. Like, this is the problem. When you say progressive, it was progressive for 1969. That doesn't necessarily mean progressive today.
Yeah, progressive by today's standards is quite different, isn't it?
Yeah. So you know, you know already, even if you didn't know anything about them, even if I didn't when I listened to this, when you're about to listen to a near 9-minute long song from 1969 from a band you maybe don't necessarily care for musically, and I don't particularly care for musically outside of this album, and you say it's progressive, it sounds like it could be a struggle, but I would hope it's the overall piece. You know what I mean? There will be passages of this that might be harder to follow, and there'll be passages that are perfectly sensible. And you will possibly not, because I find Dark Tower relations in things that are nothing to do with Dark Tower.
Yeah, of course.
And I feel like I could watch Roland Deschain. This would be the soundtrack to Roland Deschain of Gilead marching along the wastelands, looking for the first door, you know, to open. That's how I see it in my head, and I wonder if that's the sort of inspiration that gave Stephen King the reason to write books like that, you know.
Okay, that's fascinating for me. So, I mean, quickly history, I'm aware of King Crimson. I'm also aware of that relationship that you're talking about there to a certain degree. I am a fan of progressive music. I'm a fan of progressive rock, but more progressive metal than anything else. Yeah. But I'm not a fan of progressive rock from yesteryear, your Rushes and things like that. So there is always that element too. Obviously, the Dark Tower, I am obviously a big fan of, having been encouraged to read them via you and thoroughly getting into them. In fact, it's been quite a few years now. And, you know, you mentioning it, you know, you get that little itch where you're like, oh, it's been a while. It'll feel fresh again.
it's time to go again.
Exactly that. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. So I'm intrigued for that. I was just looking at the lyrical content as well and sort of seeing how that'll work. But I think I'll hear it and look at the same time, considering there is no video. Yeah, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go.
And then
It's getting there. Yeah, just waiting for that last little bit to disappear into the distance. There we go. So there's no doubting, there's no denying that you will feel the near 9 minutes that this track has. However, I don't think you'll be uninterested. I think you'll be very interested because it's not like it's the same thing over and over again. Being a progressive rock track, it has many, many twists and turns, but not so many and that it's wild nonsense that you can't follow along with. Thanks to the more relaxed, chilled, stoned out tempo, the slow build, the melodramatic effects, the use of other instruments, and of course, the extremely light and airy but still powerful vocals, I think it takes you on a journey. That is a very journey-like track. What you talked about before in relation to the Dark Tower, the connection there does work. I completely understand where you're coming from, but also from just a perspective of the world, lyrically, content-wise, and how it plays out, the fact that it's called Epitaph alone, it's relevant to even today's standards, which is incredible for a song that was made in 1969. You said that you thought it sounded dated. I agree it sounds old, but I think like, I've heard music that sounds like that coming out this fucking year. I know obviously it's bands trying to do sort of throwback stuff, but to me that sounded fresh, like fresh enough that I couldn't, if you'd asked me to place it of an era, I'd have struggled. I would have been guessing and gone, okay, maybe the 70s, just because it sounds like a 70s track. But I know in my heart of hearts, there are bands who release that music now.
The people that try to capture that sound.
Try to capture it is the right thing, because here's the fucking thing about progressive rock music. It's not about complexity. It's not about all the different things you can do. It's not about going, hey, you thought you had a rhythm here? Well, what are we doing now? That's not what it's about. It's about the journey. It's about doing that along a clear, defined path where I feel like I'm walking it, be it cracked, be it damaged, as they say themselves. But if I can go from beginning to end and on that way, see such sights, wonders, and hear such incredible things, but still find my feet on the same path towards that exit, that outro, that point of no return, then you have absolutely nailed it. I thought I would hate this. I think that's one of the best tracks I've ever heard in my life.
Wow. I didn't think you'd hate it, but I felt like it might. It's not for everyone. Like this this isn't trying to make out like we're like super geniuses or some shit like that. But it's a complicated track. Yeah, it's a complex track. You need to invest in it a little bit to get anything back. Like, this isn't a 3-minute gratification song. This is, like you said, a journey. Let it wash over you, feel it as much as hear it. It always has blown me away from the first time I've heard it till now. It's one of my favorite songs as an individual song of all time, to be honest with you. But like from a composition perspective, from everything, and I'm really, really, really pleased like you enjoyed it, man, because I've played it to a lot of people, mate. Very few people I've played to get it. Very few people come out of it saying anything other than like, oh, that's a bit long and boring, isn't it? And that frustrates the hell out of you when you hear that. You're like, you're not getting this, are you? So yeah.
Well, we get that as well. Because we even started this reaction video off saying about the length of it, knowing that is an investment. And with an investment like that comes the potential that you may get distracted. There was a point during the video where I was looking down, but I chose to look down because I was trying to pay complete attention to it, the song, because I feel like that's what you have to do sometimes with a song like this, music like this, which is kind of just shut off for a minute, shut off for a couple of minutes and listen. I mean, it's probably it's probably the most straightforward win you've ended up having in this entire series to date.
It's mad how that works, isn't it? The things I'm putting forward that I think are the most riskiest turn out to be the least riskiest.
Well, no, it is always the case. I think as well, sometimes it can be mood related. Normally, I mean, at the time recording, guys, we've been doing this for a couple of hours. So normally at this point, we're beginning to wind down and getting a little bit tired and stuff like that. But that kind of song there gives me a little bit of energy, a little bit of boost, and goes, yeah, you know what am I going to do? Because I'm feeling a bit that it's late. Oh yeah, no, it's a shit track. That's not how I operate. It's never going to be how I operate. What that song makes me do want to talk almost in poems, poetry style. I want to wax lyrical about the content and how it makes me think of this and how it makes me picture this image, and how I really appreciate the vocals, how they almost seemed nervous to begin with, but then grow in strength and grow in power and impact. Like his confidence is growing as the track goes on, which then reflects upon me to the fact that, okay, we're gonna, when we've hit that first chorus, and I was like, hold up a second here, that's where is that in the lyrical content in the YouTube video? But afterwards made complete fucking sense. And like I said, the lyrical content itself, those two particular lines I pointed out. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's going straight in my playlist of songs that like my favorite songs ever that I go to if I'm bored in the car and just put that on. It's easy. You know?
Awesome. Good
yeah.
Stuff.
There you go, King Crimson's Epitaph. What do you reckon? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?